Every weapon on this list can be obtained before setting foot inside any of the legacy dungeons. These weapons will allow you to make some truly OP and DLC unique builds very quickly. Plus, who doesn't like to smell nice? Let's go! Let me know any cool weapons you found in the comments down below. We'll start with the Backhand Blade, which is like the easiest one to get. Now, this is really unique because not only is it like a backhanded scimitar, but you only need one of these, and when you like two-hand it, you'll actually pull out the second one and get a unique moveset when you do that. It also comes with the Ash of War blind spot, which can be changed, though I don't know why you would want to. This is essentially like a Bloodhound step and then like a backstab attack that does a pretty decent amount of stagger as well. Like it will knock enemies out of their attack animation. Really solid weapon for some sort of status build because of the sort of dual wielding setup to build up that status quite quickly. Plus it is very unique, especially for say like a dex build where you would typically maybe be using two scimitars. Great option as an alternative for any of those like sort of typical builds. Now you can find this super early in the game in the grave site plains. Like really you can like beeline over to this side here. There's some like enemies here, and beside this coffin you'll be able to find the Backhand Blade here. You don't really have to do much in order to get it, but super easy to get. The next is everyone's favorite Milady. Now this is a physical light greatsword that does pretty decent like strength and dex scaling like evenly across the board. It comes with impaling thrust, not wing stance as we saw in the previews, but you can get wing stance. It's just like further in Castle Ensis than the Milady is. But what's great about this weapon is its really fast attack animations, both with its light and heavy attack combos for like a greatsword. Still has a really high amount of poise damage it does deal. I originally put double slash on this, but then decided I don't really need it because the heavy attack is kind of faster and better than double slash anyway. So really, yeah, really good weapon that you can absolutely grab very easily. Like you do have to just set foot in Castle Ensis in order to get it. It's like basically just past the castle front side of Grace. There's like a watchtower, like tower thing here that you just need to climb to the top of, and you can do that super easy and just grab it from the chest there. You don't have to actually go into the legacy dungeon in any real capacity. It's like right there for you to grab. The bloodline of Queen Marika and Radagon is more difficult to understand than beating Melania. If you want to create your own bloodline, then you should check out Bloodline Heroes of Lythis. Bloodline Heroes of Lythis is a hero collector fantasy RPG with stunning 3D realistic graphics in which you can build your own kingdom and collect champions to defend it. Download and try the game for free using my link or scan the QR code on the screen and receive a mystery anniversary gift pack worth $120. The best feature in Bloodline is that you can create your own legendary champions by combining the bloodlines of elves, demons, demigods, orcs, dwarves, lycans, dragonborn, vampires, and more to create over 800 new fantasy hybrids. Bloodline is currently celebrating its second anniversary, and just by logging in, you can receive 1 mythic level champion, 5 3-star champion tokens, 30 summoning crystals, 41 hour bonus gold chests, plus Luxanil from Clan Arbiter. A new champion is available during the event, along with the Radiant Luxus event featuring strategic battles in the Arbiter's arena, and even more events and rewards that I'll leave you to discover on your own. Bloodline Heroes of Lythis has been a big supporter of the channel, and there's never been a better time to download the game for free using my link in the description down below or the QR code on your screen to receive a mystery gift pack worth $120. The first 30 players who leave their in-game account ID and username in the pinned comment down below will also receive 2 legendary heroes for free. Thank you, Bloodline Heroes of Lythis, for sponsoring this video. The next is the Anvil Hammer. This is a massive hammer that deals physical and fire damage. It has intelligence scaling, but not really, but it mainly scales with faith and strength. What's great about this colossal weapon is its unique Ash of War smithing art spears, where you slam the anvil into the ground and like pulls up these spears. It does like fire damage and decent stagger because it is a colossal weapon. Great weapon to grab pretty early in the game as well if you are like one of those, especially those massive like strength build users or looking for something else to fit your sort of strength faith hybrid. Really unique weapon with the physical and fire damage here. Now what I like about this weapon personally is the Ash of War, right? I'm not a big colossal weapon user, so it's not really for me, though I know that there are those homies out there, but the Ash of War is what really stands out to me and why I would use this weapon if I was going to choose to make some sort of like a blacksmith role-playing type thing, right, with this massive hammer. If you want to grab this, it comes from the Ruined Forge lava intake at the very end of that like dungeon thing. You'll essentially just need to work your way through, drop down the column, and then climb your way up to the top, and then at the anvil you'll be able to loot included. Inside this dungeon is also where you find the Smith's Script daggers if you're looking for a throwing weapon as well. So keep an eye out for that inside that dungeon as well. Next is the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana. Now you can grab just like the normal Great Katana very early in the DLC, just near a lake here. Just be careful of the dragon. But I think this is my favorite weapon I have found so far. It does require a tiny bit more work than just going and grab that Great Katana, but the Ash of War on this is what really stands out. The Dragon Wound Slash is an incredible attack that when you charge this up, it does actually fire out that beam attack rather than just like hitting in front of you, so you get a bit of a wave damage. You can hit enemies from a bit more distance. Now the Great Katanas have a really fantastic moveset of both slashing and thrusting attacks, both with their heavy and light combos as well. And then this being a unique weapon, it does have better scaling than like the typical Great Katana as well, and just is a really fantastic weapon if you want to play as like some sort of, you know, dragon type, like role play type setup. I really like this weapon. I'm probably going to do a build with it as well, so if I have done that, I'll link that here if that does eventually come out. But really like this weapon, and in order to get this, you'll need to go to the Dragon's Pit, which is like south of Castle Ensis. You'll need to like travel down that way. It's like a dungeon catacomb sort of down there. Essentially at the end of that, there'll be a boss that you'll need to beat. Once you've beaten that boss, he will drop the Dragon's Hunter Katana for you, which is an incredible weapon that you should absolutely be using if you like any of these sort of dex focus builds, and really enjoyed this weapon myself. I've got two for you next, and they're essentially like very similar. They're both perfume bottles. You can get them both like very quickly. First is the Fire Spark perfume bottle. This comes from right near Castle Ensis, just like before the castle front site of Grace. You'll be able to grab this. That's in a chest guarded by some perfumers and some of Mesmer's soldiers, so just be careful there, but you can grab it from that. And then the second is the poison version of this, which you can purchase from Theolia. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he's found at the Pillar Cross side of Grace for 6,000 runes. You can purchase it from there. What's really unique about the poison one is it has a unique Ash of War, and it does physical damage, whereas the fire one just exclusively does fire damage. Now this is because poison isn't like a damage type, right? It has that poison build up, which it does build up very quickly, but that's what that difference is there. One thing to note here as well is that you can two-hand the perfume bottle, so you can put them both in like one in each hand, so you get like different attack animations when you do that. So something to consider there if you are going to use these or any of the other perfume bottles as your weapon. But I wanted to call these out because they are one of the most unique of like the new weapons, and they're not super easy to find, but there is one for all of the different like damage types and stuff as well. But you can get these two pretty early in the game, and they're both pretty solid if you wanted to go that sort of perfumer route. Just be careful of poisoning yourself, which is very easy to do. The Black Steel Greathammer is another physical and holy weapon, except this is a Greathammer, not a colossal weapon. This does scale with strength and faith as well. It does originally come with Endure, but you can like change that Ash of War to anything you like. That's probably like the trade-off here compared to say using this versus like the Anvil Hammer. Obviously that's a fire. This is like a holy version, but with that faith and strength scaling as well if you wanted to go that route. The attack animations here are basically very similar to the typical Great Hammers, not that different from say a colossal weapon in general as well. If you really like poise damage and breaking the stance of enemies, this is a fantastic weapon to use, especially if you're in a strength or a faith build just like the Anvil Hammer. This is maybe a little bit easier to get as you don't have to go through a dungeon, but it does appear to be a random drop, though I'm not like 100% sure right now. You can let me know in the comments if it is. It actually dropped for me at the Church of Consolation, which is like south of where you first spawn, like when you go to the Lands Between. But any of the Black Knights that you see around, like there's some that you can farm at the castle front entrance to Castle Ensis if you wanted to farm one from there. But let me know in the comments if this is a random drop, like if you did get it from the Church of Consolation as well or not. I would be very interested to know. Now the last one I'm calling out because I feel like I'm letting my intelligence homies down, right? Like intelligence is like my main builds that I make, and none of the weapons on this list are intelligence based. That is because a lot of the great intelligence weapons come much later in the DLC. You can't get them very early, but I wanted to call this one out just so we've got one of the intelligence weapons. This is a colossal sword. It's the Moonrithyl's Knight Sword. Funnily enough, it's basically just a troll sword. Like there's no real any difference between this and a troll sword except for the Ash of War, which is tremendous phalanx. Now it's essentially like Great Blade phalanx, except it does more damage. So if you're going for say a stance break build using something like that, you've got that as your option. Now this one comes from a invader that you'll find inside Castle Ensis, which is not really why I wanted to call this out, but I just wanted to mention it so I've got something for the intelligence. Now you need to go traveling through maybe like half of that Castle Ensis, and then you'll just run into the invader there if you're just like following the general path there. But he is about halfway through Castle Ensis. Now, this is a solid weapon, right? It's a colossal sword. It's got decent poise and everything. It's got that unique tremendous phalanx that has a good follow-up attack. So it's a really solid weapon, but it doesn't fit the category of like, you know, weapons before going into a legacy dungeon. But I wanted to call out something for my intelligence homies out there so that, you know, you guys have actually got something to go and hunt if you do want. But there's plenty more in the DLC. They just come a bit later than at this point. So stay tuned for more videos about those weapons. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.